Okay, so I'm not sure if my voice is good for you or I need to raise my voice till the end. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for taking the time to having this hot weather in September in Warsaw, just to stay in a closed room, to listen to some guys who could help you about startups and help you finding the light at the end of the tunnel of what we are doing, right? So as Mateus just, thank you for the good intro. Today we will be looking into a very interesting topic that each entrepreneur and each founder of any idea, of any business will need to interact with. This thing called incubators and accelerators. I'm 100% sure you have heard a lot about those two programs, but today we will take it in a very granular level and simplify the path to join either of each program and how to get the best out of it, right? So we will be looking into the key differences, not just definition, what are the operational differences between those two programs? And how can you as an entrepreneur or thinking to be an entrepreneur to make the best out of it? So this is our agenda for today. We will be looking what's incubators, what does this word looks like, what does it mean in real life, and what is accelerators? Should you actually join one of those programs or no? What are the differences that you need to consider between both? And how to decide as yourself, how to decide to go through this path. Right, so the story I love to describe incubators and accelerators, right? So let me start with this story and then we look at all this book stuff and informative texts. Imagine you have a seed for a plant, right? When you look at the seed, it actually doesn't give you any reflection of the outcome, right? Usually it's ugly. It looks like many other 100 seeds, right? But at a certain point, you need to bring this seed to life. So what you do is you provide this seed with an environmental elements, right? So you provide the environmental elements. So like soil, like water, like sun, etc. Okay? So this seed started after a few weeks or a few months to come from a little bit small stem and one small leaf, right? But afterwards, what you want to do is to bring this little stem and little leaves to be a higher stem, right? To be a higher stem and more leaves and gives you flowers or fruits, right? So what you do is that you provide different elements at that stage of the plant to accelerate the growth, right? And this is exactly what incubators and accelerators got their idea from. And by the way, if you look at the historical, sorry. If you look at the historical formation of those institutions, there was nothing called incubators and accelerators before. Nothing, right? I think this idea was developed around the 80s, right? Where they divided into teams internally, and this team takes one part, and this team waiting to hand it over the other part to the second team. So those are the two teams, right? And sometimes you can find them under one umbrella, under one name. But usually nowadays, because the market is very rich, you can find those are different institutions. So incubator helps you and enables you to bring your medtech idea. If you have a medical tech idea and you don't know what's happening, what are the resources I need, you go to the incubator, they help you with the environmental elements, which is like workspace to work from, okay? Finding co-founder, right? Because everyone needs a co-founder at a certain point. Third, giving you some operational building perks, right? Like softwares, like credits on having support or consultancy services that you will not be able to first to reach or to pay from your pockets on these perks. So incubators are really getting the ideation to a product in a very simple word, okay? On accelerator-wise, they are very more structured than incubators, right? What they do is that now you have the product, now you have a usability, now you have your MVP ready, right? Come to us, we will help you with the strategy to bring you from point A to point B aggressively. right? Incubator are like, I call it the mama, right? It's like, come to mama, you can stay wherever you want, whenever you want, you can chill, you can play, you can make mistakes. I'm not gonna push on you, right? Accelerator is like the bad dad. It's like, if you don't do this, you will be punished, or you will not take the perks. This is how exactly. And maybe my explanation or example is very simple, but if you look as an eagle view, this is really how it works. So to summarize it, whereas like incubators are providing your environmental elements to start, accelerators actually compress many years of knowledge and expertise into just few months. And remember the plant example? If you leave the plant without accelerators like fertilizers, you don't know what's gonna happen, right? You don't know the weather in Poland, unpredictable, right? You don't know how humid could be. You don't know the sunlight, how it goes from where. You don't know. So if you leave it, you could be lucky to work or not. But if you put fertilizers, if you put humidity monitors, if you put some fans, if you put some artificial lights, all of these elements accelerate, right? So this is what accelerators are doing. Now, why should you join? What are the benefits you're getting from? So incubators actually give you guidance, how to bring your idea to product. Help running experiments. Again, when a kid goes to mama, mama can accept failures. Mama can help experiments, right? So you can experiment all of what you want to do with your idea and pivot, right? Because most of the founders pivot, by the way. No one stays on their idea. And one friendly advice from me, don't get in love with your idea. Just don't. If you love your idea will kill you, right? Your purpose is to bring your idea and solve a problem, not finding an idea, right, and finding a solution. Then you're trying to find a problem to stick to your solution, right? So the experiments in this part help you either to stay to your idea or to pivot to a better idea. Networking, amazing networking activities. You will be able, by the way, I'm talking from an experience, right? So I went to incubators, I went to accelerators, I worked with them. I have seen people from all around the world network and creating ideas that it's indispensable, super valuable, right? Those group of people, if you keep them 5 hours together, it's a gold mine of ideas, right? And then you bring them to another part that we will talk to, let's execute, because everyone has ideas. Everyone is perfect at ideas, but who's executing? And who can accept the feedback, whether this idea is good or no, that's bad one, you don't see it now, you need to pivot. And we're gonna talk about this later. Incubators, they don't really provide funds, very few of them, okay? And today, I'm not gonna mention any names of accelerators and incubators, so I don't seem like I'm a marketing tool. I know most of them, so that's why I'm not gonna mention any names today. But they don't provide any capital. Few of them, they can provide capital in exchange in the stack of your company. On accelerator-wise, one of the prerequisites to work with them, hey, you got accepted in our program, but we're gonna take part of your company. This is what you sign before you even talk, right? So this is a very good and strong prerequisite you need to accept. Accelerator educational path is very rich. Sorry. Very, very rich. I personally learned a lot from it, right? I had experience. I thought I have experience, but when I went through a structured, immersive journey that you need to finish it and you need to apply it, you have a huge knowledge. Access to network and investor connections, and this is a very good point, right? Accelerators, yes, they provide you capital, but the capital may not be sufficient that you are wishing for. For example, for your food tech, right? Speaking from food tech experience, you need a lot of cash at a certain point to grow, right? I don't know your model, but I'm just assuming.
Yeah, but what are you talking about? About making hardware, software?
I'm talking about acquisition.
Okay.
Yeah? So,
yeah, that's, yeah.
So I'm just granular to the point, right? You need a lot of cash to do acquisition, right? And that's food tech. The money you will take from Accelerator is not going to be enough. It's just helping you to build a solid base. So you go to the investor, hey, we got this accelerator, he committed with that amount, and that's helping you, help the floor for you to bring more investors, and they connect you, okay? Now, what are the differences? Can anyone tell me what are the differences from what we discussed? What do you think will be the main elements of differences?
Education and growth between them.
Yeah, very good.
Money.
Money, you're straight to the point.
The phase of the thing we are just developing.
Sorry, can you come again?
Incubator is the first phase of development, and the accelerator is the next phase of the development.
Very nice.
Pace.
Pace, good. Bring it on, whatever you say, maybe it's correct. Because that's only 7, right? That's only 7. Could be more than 7.
Stake and equity.
Okay, nice. Correct.
Differences in team.
Thank you.
Offering facilities or something other than cash.
On point.
Level of knowledge.
The tempo of development.
Yes. I like the 2 examples, the different resources and the development part. We take 2 more
The level of knowledge. What is expected.
from the incubators versus the accelerators. Right, that's correct. Because the people are different and they have different expertise. That's correct.
You can be punished for something, for example, accelerators.
Oh, that's the Baba, the daddy, huh? The daddy example. If you don't do it, you'll be punished. Actually, I agree with you. And we will talk about how they do it. One more?
Level of risk.
Level of risk.
The level of risk
For who?
for the company which is being developed or a startup.
Startups are all risky, right?
Yeah.
Everything is risky.
Yeah, but in the first phase it's not as that risky as in the second phase. So let's say that in the incubator, you
Yeah.
can just, as you said, the mama will just take care of you. In accelerator, if the dad will tell you that you're just doing something wrong, you will not get the refund or something like that.
Exactly. You need to be qualified.
Yeah.
Please.
Level of commitment from founders.
I like this one. I think all what you said is 100% true, right? But I will talk about what are the purposes, the first one or the first element key difference. What are the differences between both programs? Incubator are providing shared resources, shared infrastructure for entrepreneurs. So they have one co-working space and they have multiple startups at the same time. They can use the facilities, right? They have one software license and they have multiple users under it granted to the founders. So everything is shared, right? It's not tailored. Let me put it this way, it's not tailored. And this is the beauty of it. So they are very optimized on cost, high returns, right, as an incubator, because the returns in incubators is a successful startup, while accelerator, the return is an equity, right? The accelerators, they are very simple. They are, when you know, the data is like very clear. They don't go in circles. You know what, I'm gonna bring you from point A to point B, and you need to do 1, 2, 3. Do we agree? Perfect, let's start working. This is exactly what Accelerator is doing, and that's gonna be way much faster versus if a startup would do it on their own. Why? I experienced that personally. You know, like the first week you hate yourself in the acceleration program, you really hate yourself, and you just don't, you really wanna quit because it's stressful, very competitive. There is no babysitting. They actually assume that you are in a good state of understanding what's happening. You are solid in the operations. So you're already coming with layers that it's already solid. What's coming next is the new stage. But if someone goes there trying to mingle around or trying to, I'm just taking resources or I'm just adding a new name in my career or whatever, it's gonna be a very stressful journey, right? Okay, so what kind of venture stage should you join those programs? So on an incubator, you could be one of the two things. The first one is either you are a solo entrepreneur, like, what's your name for the medtech? Yeah, you. Sorry? Uliana. So like Uliana right now, she's a solo entrepreneur, right? She doesn't know what type of resources that she requires to start her venture, right? So she goes to incubator. They provide her with matching, co-founder matching, right? I'm gonna make you introduced to other founders in our network and do your best to connect with the best matching co-founder. Not necessarily to be a co-founder, it could be a key player in your team. For example, I'm a business guy, right? And my idea, it needs to be tech enabled. So I need a very strong engineer. But this engineer doesn't need to be a co-founder, but I need to find him to make my idea brings to life, right? That's what incubator. An incubator actually does not require for you to have an MVP. Who has an MVP ready here? Almost, right?
1 month ago.
But it's still not ready. Okay, so I think in that case, if you think, you go to incubator. Because if you don't have an MVP ready, consequently, you don't have your business model proven. Because business model is about unit economics. Do you have customers willing to pay you, right? Are you good on margins? And all of this financial talks. On the accelerator wise, they're a little bit tougher. So they need to have your MVP ready. It works. It has a minimum usage from your users. And this, some accelerator can require minimum customer growth base, right? So they tell you if you below like 20% year-over-year growth, right, you're not accepted. That means that think about the compounded multiplier for your growth, and this is going to be your qualification criteria. But you need to have an MVP in a nutshell. It needs to be working. It needs to have a minimum usage to bring the users the insights, because not all founders are right. Accelerator, they have a different point of view, right? And you have a business model. You have a paying people. Sorry. So, founding team. Who said founding team here? I think someone said a founding team. You said a founding team at the back. So, accelerator, the difference that here is that if you don't have a strong co-founding team, you will not be accepted in any accelerator. You have to, right? But some accelerator provide something called co-founder matching program. I have been through one of those. Super intense, right? It's only 2 weeks. You see people for the first time in your life. You go with dinners with them every day. You go for beers. Like, who are these people, right? But your mission is that those 2 weeks, you really need to find a co-founder. There's no way out. And if you don't go through this next step in the acceleration program. You will say goodbye, great to meet you, try another time, or come back when you have a co-founder. But it's just a tool that helps you finding the right person. And this tool only provided if you have the other elements satisfied, which is the MVP, business model, etc. Okay. What about the support? And someone here mentioned support. So I'm going to talk about two things: strategy, operations. Let's flash back to what we said about incubator, what they do exactly. Incubators provide environmental elements for a startup to grow, right? To start, to see the sunlight. So I only help you to bring your operations ignited. It started, it works, but I'm not going to help you of where you're going. You already told me that's where I want to stay, but I'm not going to help you where to go, which is the strategy part. On the acceleration part, they don't go in operations, right? They overlook a very good tailored strategy structure for every startup that joins the program. And this goes through mentors, domain experts, people who are operators in the field of your startup that actually do this on a daily basis. They have office hours and you can join them. And this is, by the way, if you join ever one of those programs, or if you did before, make the best out of those office hours. This is the gold mine of the program because you get a fresh advice from the real life. Funding and equity. And this is the interesting part. So, incubator, they don't usually take equity. Some of them they take, very few of them, or they take like a monthly fees to run their operations. I don't want to mention names now, but few of them in Europe, you need to pay on a monthly fees to be part of the program. Accelerator, they usually take from 5% up to 12%. Usually, that's on the benchmark, on averages. Could go less, could go higher, depends on your term sheet agreement and the agreements that you had with the accelerators. Timeline. Incubator, you stay whenever you want. You stay for the long you want, right? And it could several months, it could be several years, from 1 to 5 years. It depends. If they like you, you are in the house, you stay till you make it, right? Because we are trying to grow the seed. Accelerator? No. No. You start today, you have 3 months to finish the whole journey and get qualified. And what I mean by qualified, because accelerators usually end their program by a demo day. Demo day, let's imagine it like that. You guys are the startup and ladies are the startups founders. You go through the 3-month program, but at the end, you will all be competing against each other on a pitching stage. And I'm gonna only choose 10% out of you to go through the final stage in front of investors. And the investor will take 5 or 3 out of you. See how the conversion works? So it's very, very competitive. And during that time, you're not just learning. You're learning in the daytime, and you are executing on your startup in the afternoon. So imagine like that. You go, I think maybe you will relate because you're already in food tech, and food tech is very changing. Today you have a campaign that you're running on a certain market, right? The conversion didn't work. Tomorrow you need to come back, if you're an accelerator, with a different strategy, proven, right, in 2 nights. The accelerator program, they don't care how you will do it. You just need to show that you are able to do it, okay? And usually it's from 3 to 6 months, right? My view on this, the best ones are only limited for 3 months, okay? The most successful ones are only limited to 3 months. 6 months, it could vary, depends on the vertical you work on, something like complicated maybe, like something very scientific, right? Or AI maybe, right? Or when I would say last year when the digital currencies and all this metaverse thing, by the way, I tried to went inside. All of these things could take 6 months because the proving of the model takes time, right? How do I get inside? What is the acceptance rate for those programs, right? For incubator, you really need to master your idea. You really need to rehearse. And if you talk about it, I really need to believe you. And if you don't convince me, you don't have a place in incubator, right? And because I don't require from you any proven model, I don't require any features working as an MVP, I don't require anything. So the only 2 elements that you need to provide, that you know what you're talking about as an idea. And the second thing is, you understand where are you working. If you choose Poland as your target marketing, have you studied Poland? Or are you going through, here is TAM, SAM, SOM, right? And you put the market into 3 stages and you put percentages and then you convert and take 20% and 10% here. That's my target segmentation. Please don't do that. Don't do that, right? If anyone going through a pitch stage or going through investors, this is like a turn off for investors. You really need to show that you understand your market, okay? Even if you provide sample of interviews of potential customers, right? And then you do, we call the bottom-up sizing, right? And or in the other way, you can take benchmarking from somewhere and then goes a little bit granular, okay, on your idea and see, does that really match this vertical, right? Or you can get reports, but leave the reports and the nice charts and everything on these markets till the end. But just show that you really did the work of understanding your market. Accelerator, it's a little bit advanced in your entrepreneurship journey, right? And your product market fit and customer market fit is already proven. There are two different things. Product and customer, they're two different things. So you have customers that they are willing to pay for your product, one thing. And the second thing is that your product is the right product for Poland. I'm just giving Poland as an example. So I cannot just bring a product or find a nice product from nice markets and I'm living in Poland and say, all right, I'm going to launch it here, right? I have willing customers to pay. But are they sustainable? Will they be paying for me more than a year, 2 years, 3 years? This is already enabled if you find the product market fit. Is it correct for the market? Is it correct for the culture? Is it the right one for the investors around me, right? And by the way, it's very hard to get here. It's very easy to get here because it's almost 50% of people get in incubators. Less than 10% get into accelerator, right? Nice. How do you feel?
Educated.
More simple view on what's the differences between both, right? On the top of what you already know. I'm sure you know a lot. But how do I decide where I go? I have a team behind me. I cannot screw up, right? I already left my job, for example. This is my only thing that I'm doing. I have my friends, my family, everyone believes in me. I don't want to screw up. So, because being in an incubator or accelerator is an investment from your side. It's a commitment. It's a commitment in time, in energy, in focus, and to deliver. You need to deliver in both cases. But if you're going there to, again, just to bring your startup and new name on the CV, you're not going to get anything out. So there are a few questions that I always like to ask founders, right, when I work with them closely, right? Which stage your startup in right now? And you need to be very truthful about it. Like, as I ask you 2 times, you tell me I'm a seed stage, right? But I told, do you generate revenues? You told me no, so you are a pre-seed. But if your MVP not working, you're actually pre-seed. And it's not bad. It's not bad to say the truth. It's not bad to leave your ego because in startups, ego is your biggest enemy. Ego is your biggest enemy. Just you need to be truthful. Because if you define what stage of your startup in, you will decide which program you need right now, okay? What are my funding needs? Why do I need money? Why do I need money? Do I need money or do I need guidance? Or my company can be bootstrapped and I don't need money because money comes with shares, right? Part of the cake. And it doesn't only come from part of the cake, it comes from a little bit hardcore people attending meetings with you on a weekly basis, telling you, what the hell are you doing with this company? Show me reports. And sometimes they will tell you what to do and you will not like it. But you will have to do it. No choice, because that's their money, right? So your funding needs is very important to be defined. Do you have a strong founding team or do you want to build one? Today, if you are one founder, I advise you to find someone to help you, whatever the names. But the name doesn't really matter. It's actually what you will do on a daily basis. If you are 2 business people and your idea needs to be tech-enabled, where's the tech part? I'm going to outsource it. Come on. It's a good model, right? It could work. But on the longer term, you really need someone to take on your side and to take ownership, not just a salary. Ownership is very important in this field. Am I willing to commit to timelines? Like, good sleep doesn't exist, by the way. I slept yesterday 3 hours. Like, I barely stand, like, I'm good that I stand it today. But 3 hours because I work 2 time zones in the same day, 2 ventures. And I cannot just keep crying and telling me, oh, I need to sleep, or I give an excuse, because there is no one to give excuse for. If you work an employee, you can call sick, right? You can just doesn't show up. Just blow off the air. But if you are building something, trust me, you cannot get away. You need to be there, right? And the last thing, who I want to be mentored by? Are these people are good or not? And this is very important, by the way. The conclusion of what we discussed today, it doesn't mean that you need to choose one program, because one program does not exclude you from the other. Either you can choose one if you are in a very early stage as one incubator and then move to accelerator, or you can mix and match, because there is something lately started to happen called startup studios. We didn't talk about it today, but it's like a new model. I just don't want to fog your minds about it. But you have multiple options, right? So both of them are good for you. Both of them are very useful, but you need to be very honest with yourself. You need to define what's your commitment level to those things. You need to really face your team. If you have a team, don't sugarcoat things. Okay, I'm a guy who's doing business. You're a guy doing business. Who's doing technology? Who's doing product? Who's doing what? Okay? But if I'm a business guy and you are a tech guy, we're taking half 50-50, right? But if we don't say that we need someone, we're really going to sink in the program. Because you join today, week later, by the way, in accelerator and incubator, especially in the accelerator, you pitch every week, not at the end of the 3 month. The 3 month is just the demo big day. But every Friday, I remember, every Friday, we have a pitching day. Every Friday. And every Friday, you need to show progress on your startup, real progress. So you're actually working, okay? I hope that was short and sweet. Now the floor is yours. Yes?
What is your opinion on government-owned accelerators? In Poland, because it's Poland. In
Yeah.
Poland it's quite popular.
Give me names.
For example, here was huge thing, there was Rebels
Valley.
Okay, got it. Okay. It's very good, right? It's a good start. Because first, maybe you will not like the way they think as a government-led accelerator, but their outcome is the desired outcome that you want to reach. Meaning that you will not, sometimes, you may not work with cool people like looks like from startups, like speak, like you. Maybe they are a little bit corporate background, and they are just sitting in front of you. It's like, show me a report. It's like, what report? Show me this. It's like, what? I'm working on Excel, man. Like, what are you talking about? So you need to bridge the gap of this thing, but I believe it's a very good stepping stone in the wall of the ecosystem in Poland, right? So yes, I like them. Yeah.
What is your knowledge about how many Polish ideas, Polish startups are in the accelerators abroad?
Oh wow.
For example, is it a common trend? Maybe
it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So in Amsterdam, I'll give you like European example. In Amsterdam, I met a lot of Polish people in Amsterdam, a lot. And a lot of them were in the accelerator programs, right? One of them actually, we become super good friends, and I supported the growth phase on her startup, and she got funded recently last month. I'm super happy for her. But Polish startups are becoming active in Amsterdam, Berlin, and Paris especially. Not as we expect thousands or hundreds, but it's a good percentage.
Because they have an alternative in Poland, I guess. Of course, not that good, I suppose.
But by the way, the people I'm talking about, they have been living there for some time. So they're not coming out of Poland to go there to start their own business, no. Most of I met, like, they are already living in the country. Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Are there any accelerators or incubators, for that matter, because different stage,
Yeah.
that specifically are focusing on, for example, hardware or some special field?
Yeah, those called corporate funds.
Corporate funds. So
Yes.
it's associated with some kind of
Exactly.
in Poland. Can you name one? Because it's like.
I don't want to use any marketing now, but I am happy to share with you this later on a private message. But to summarize it, usually you will find it as a corporate fund.
Okay. So I think that's all, and thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.